Well, students, we're gonna keep working on these self-portraits with your parents, and we're gonna be working on painting it today. I'm gonna talk a little bit about mixing and stuff. If you have not started painting, I would like you to do the skin color first. Please remember not to splash your brush or bang it or tap it. It'll splash the water, so just wipe it off gently. And I would like you to find the color that you think matches you most. For me, it's this color, and my dad happens to be the same color. So I'm gonna paint his skin tone, again, just because it's not very even. So if you notice that you need a little bit of extra paint, if it's not very even, just use a drop of water, and that can help smooth it all out. Paint around the lips, paint around your eyes. And I'm even painting a little bit around my nose. As I run out of paint, then I'm gonna add an extra drop of paint. I'm gonna use that up here, and I'm gonna use a drop of water, and that will help brush it and smooth it out. For my dad's glasses, I already did this, but you can add a little extra to the inside of the glasses. Just be careful not to get paint on the eyes. For the neck, we want to add a little extra here to even this out. And use that, just that little bit of water to help smooth it out. Now, I have already painted the clothing, but if you have not, then I would like you to. I'm going to move this paint out of the way. So then you'll most likely get this color, this really bright colored paint first, and I'll give you this second. I'll have to pass some things out as you're working. But I'm gonna always wash my brush before I switch colors and just listen to my brush. So it should not make a loud scratchy sound. We mentioned as well that it's gonna be a good idea if you have larger spaces to do that you're just kind of painting a line, pick up your brush, paint a line, pick up your brush. Once you're done painting the clothing, then I do want you to start working on the background. Now, I already painted this side green, so I'm gonna do the other side with some green. And if this paint has a little bit of a crack in it, like this blue has some little breaks or lines in it, if that's true, then please be extra, extra, extra gentle so that you don't end up having the paint get more broken, because then we won't have any good paint to use. So here, I'm painting that. Now, you're gonna notice that this paint color here is a little bit different, but that can be nice to use a color like that for some mixing. So I might take this darker green, and I'm gonna use that up here where it might be a little bit darker by my horizon line, so that I've got some darker green grasses against the lighter green. So you're welcome to use both colors. Now for the sky color, you can decide a lot of different things that you want it to be. I'm going to show you an option for a sunset, and this will work with the color wheel. And the color wheel really goes from, I want to make sure all that green is off of my brush, because if green mixes with red, then that can really turn it kind of brown. So if you follow the color wheel and you go from red to orange, or well, actually I'm going to go from red to pink to orange to yellow. That can create a really beautiful sunset color. So look at how I'm going to go around the clouds, and I'm glad that I painted them white. So if there is a little, or that I colored them white, because if I do get a little bit of paint on them, hopefully it won't stick to the clouds. I'm still gonna go around them. And then once I have the red on here, then I'm gonna switch to pink, and I'm gonna paint some pink into the red, so it creates kind of a pinkish red color. And then I'll paint that down a little bit. Then I'm gonna end up going to orange, and it's gonna look like a real sunset. If you don't want to do a sunset sky, you do not have to. You could do a blue sky. I'll do a little example of that on one that I already have painted in a minute. Ooh, that's looking really cool. So now the orange is mixing into my pink. Bring the orange down a little further. Then I'll paint the other section here with yellow. This yellow is quite broken, so I do need to be extra gentle with that. Once you have it all painted, yeah, that's looking good. Be careful that this yellow does not touch my green though. Once you have that all painted, then you can do some mixing. One mix that I love to do is to do a mix of some yellow onto my green. It'll just kind of brighten up the yellow a little bit. It makes kind of a yellow-green color. Makes it almost look like the sun is shining on to this grass. Another mix that you could do would be to take this other green, and you could do a 2-color green mix, or where I already used this blue for my shirt, I could take this blue that's over here and use this to create a mix of dark blue and light blue. So then I'm gonna have light blue stripes and then dark blue stripes. And you can also do, orange is next to yellow on the color wheel, and orange is next to red. So I could put a little bit of a red mix into my orange. We'll just use a little bit on here, like that. And then I'm gonna put a little bit more orange on here. Now, if you don't wanna mix something, you can always put more. You can see I just got some blue on there. So I gotta brush that out and clean that off. So you can always put another little more layer of orange on the orange, or put more pink on the pink if you don't want to do a mix. There is some yellow over here too, so I can use this yellow for a mix into this yellow. I'm noticing some of my green just got up here. If that happens, I'm going to try to brush it and clean it off and put that back into my water container. And once I let that dry, then I can put another layer of yellow on it. But you can see that if the two paints touch, then they start to run together. One last thing I wanted to show you, if you choose to do a blue sky, then the thing that I would encourage you to do would be to do a 2-color mix, where I might use some of this bright blue to go around the clouds. But then once I use this lighter blue, then I'm gonna switch over here and use some of this darker blue. And then blend those colors together. So instead of just one color of blue, please try to use a 2-color mix, and then that can be kind of a cool way to do some shading and mixing. So there is some black, and if you choose to do any black, make sure that's the last color you use. You can see I didn't use any black, but that's because it makes your brush really dirty. So if you want to use black, make sure that you painted it all, did all the mixing you want to do, and black would be the last color to use. Let's have fun working on these.